Hello, everybody. This is the legend Mike Wilkerson, your host of the Sooner Legends podcast. And today we're going to be taking a short look at Jamelle Holieway, one of my favorite option quarterbacks when we were still running the wishbone. But before we dive into this, may I ask you to please hop out, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell. That way you won't miss any OU or college football related content, and also it helps push the algorithm of YouTube. So, like the title states, Jamelle Holieway, Poetry in Motion. Yes, he was. Yes, sir. Probably one of the best, if not the best, option quarterback that I've seen, other than maybe J.C. Watts or Thomas Lott or Jack Mildren. But Jamelle, he uh, he was awesome. Uh, he come to us from California, from Banner High School, where he played football, and he was highly recruited not only by Oklahoma, but he was recruited by Nebraska, Notre Dame, Oregon, and USC. But at the last minute, he decided to come to Oklahoma because he had a 3-year-old sister that he didn't want to leave behind. And so he committed to OU. And as they say, the football gods have ways of throwing a monkey wrench at you. In the Miami game in 1985, uh, in Norman, Troy Aikman goes out with a broken leg. Jamelle Holieway comes in, and as the old saying goes, the rest is history. But I would like to share with you just some just some stats on him while he in his career at OU. Of course, everybody knows in 1987 uh, or 86, I can't remember when we played Okie State, and he went out when he blew his ACL out. And to me, after he blew his ACL out, he never was the same. Didn't have that cut, didn't have that flare, but he's still in my Mount Rushmore of wishbone quarterbacks. So he finished his season or his career at OU. He had 2,713 yards, rushing yards, on 53, or is that 500? Yeah, 539 attempts, averaging 5 yards a carry and 32 touchdowns. While through the air, he threw 257 times, completing 117 passes for 2,430 yards with 22 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. His passer rating at the end of his career was 84.9 over 39 games. So I'm going to share a little memory with y'all about my memory of Jamelle. It was in the 1985 Nebraska game at Norman. Colder than all get out. I was at the game. Uh, Back in the 80s, if y'all remember, that was the day of the Walkman. Well, also, the Walkman also had what they called the Watchman. And so I was at the game. I was at the 50-yard line on the home side. So I was watching the game, and I had my little Watchman with my headphones on, little black and white job. And I was listening to Frank Broyles and Keith Jackson commentate that game while I was watching the actual football game. That's one memory I have. But the other memory that I have was on OU went 3-and-out on the first series, punted the ball to Nebraska. Nebraska's first play, they hit Schnitzler on a pretty long pass play, but Nebraska never did capitalize off of it. So Nebraska punted the ball back to Oklahoma and pinned them deep in their own territory, like at I think it was at the 3 or 5 yard line. Oklahoma runs one play, which maybe gained 1 or 2 yards with Spencer Tillman. That very next play, Jamelle does the old famous tight end reverse to Keith Jackson, and Keith Jackson pops it for like 88 yards for a touchdown. And then Jamelle scored one of his own on I think it's a 42 or a 45 yard scamper where he blowed out 3 or 4 Cornhuskers on his way to the end zone. But on that play, back in those days, they played on AstroTurf. And after that play, he sprained his big toe, which was called AstroTurf toe. And I remember Mr. Broyles commenting on that he had a player when Frank Broyles was coach at Arkansas, he had a player that was a freshman that got what they called AstroTurf toe, and Frank Broyles said he never did play another down in his collegiate career. And then another play that really stands out in that game was when we were against the wind. Jamelle backs up and chunks it to Keith Jackson for like a 45, 50, maybe a 60-yard pass play. And so Jamelle, if you ever watched him, he was a pretty competent passer as well as he was a runner. And of course, as they say in history, Jamelle led us to a Big 8 title, and then ultimately the national title against Penn State in the Orange Bowl, where we defeated Penn State 25-10. And if anybody remembers that, Jamelle hit Keith Jackson on a 71-yard pass play. That was just, I mean, beautiful. Of course, Lydell Carr had that big run against them too. So, but yeah, Jamelle, he's on my Mount Rushmore of wishbone quarterbacks from Oklahoma. So there again, folks, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Tell me what you think. What y'all's, tell me your favorite memory of Jamelle and his time here at OU. And let your boy the legend know. I love talking about these old Sooners. So until then, this is the legend. Y'all have a great day. God bless. And we'll see you again on the backside.